Okay, we are in Showit, and we're just going to go through the different features of Showit, just so you're familiar with the Showit editor. So at the top, you have two tabs. You have your Site tab, and this is where all of your pages are listed. You can see all of the pages here on the left, and then anything that's connected to WordPress or your blog is under here, and they have the little WordPress icon. The next section are site canvases, and then you have your canvas sets. And we'll go through all of this individually throughout the video. And then the second tab is called page, and this is what page you're on, and then all of the different canvases or sections of the page. So if you click through each one, you can see it jumps down over on the right in the editor. You have two views here. So you have your mobile view and your desktop view. You can see them individually by clicking down here in the bottom left. So if you just want to see mobile or if you just want to see desktop, you can click those. But I always suggest having both of them up at the same time, just because some things change on mobile and don't on desktop and vice versa. So it's good to have them both up so you aren't just viewing one and then you have a complete mess by the end of it. If you needed to shrink this down a little bit, if you click on, let's say, the desktop view and you use one of these zoom out or zoom in tools, you'll be able to view things a little bit differently. There's also some alignment tools here as well that you can use. If you want to display column guides, you get some column guidelines here. And there's different things that you can play with based on how you like to edit within Showit. The next things along the bottom are all of the different pieces that you can add to a Showit website, and we will get into all of those at another point. And then over on the right-hand side, when you are clicked into a canvas, you can see there's a bunch of different options here. And these change depending on what you're viewing. But for the most part, you can see you have your canvas view, canvas background, animations and transitions, and then some scroll actions. So we'll go over those a little bit later, but just so you know, if you're clicked into a canvas, you have these options on the right. Now, if you click the page name, you can see these start to change. So it's just important to know where you're clicking in when you are editing. Okay, so let's get in now to some more details. So over on the left, you have your first menu heading, which is called Site Settings. So if you click in there, basically this is where your site name is. This is where you're going to connect your domain. Your favicon is here. You can select the language for your site in here as well. And then if you click blog, you can see, let's just click out of this real quick. If you click blog, you can see if your blog is connected. Third party, this is where you would put your Google Analytics ID in here. And then social, this is where you can put all of your social links. And then we'll talk about later how you link those, but this is where the social links are. The next one is your design settings. So this is where your fonts are going in, your colors are going in, anything that is connected to your fonts as far as size and colors, everything to do with your design settings are in here. So you'll see along the top, typically the colors are in order from darkest to lightest. And you can see each one has a number associated with it. And that is so you can make big design changes within Showit with the click of a button. So you can see, for example, this title, which is this on desktop and mobile, is connected to color number 2. So if I changed this number 2 in the color palette to red, say, you can see it changes. So basically, if you change any of the colors up here in the color palette, anything associated with these colors will change throughout your entire site. Same thing with these different font settings. So you have your title, your heading, your subheading, and your paragraph. So if something in your site is connected to one of these settings and you change it in the design settings, it will change throughout your site. So if I'm going to go back and look at a text, for example, Let me just find one that doesn't have a plus sign. Okay, so this one. So I've clicked on this paragraph, and you can see over on the right, the style is connected to paragraph. So if I change in the design settings, paragraph, let's just say I change it to 3, and I hit save, you can see it changes this paragraph to that color. So that's just important to know if you want to make any big changes throughout your site. This font setting here, this is where you would upload any custom fonts that you wanted to pick or any other, Google fonts, anything like that. So let's go into the different parts of the website just so we can explain some of them. So like I said before, you have your page name, and then you have all the different canvases or sections of your website laid out here. So anything that's in blue is what you are clicked on and what you're going to edit. Now, there are a couple different types of canvases. So this one here, you can see it's got a little globe next to it. And then in the Showit editor, you can see there's lines across it. So if you see a canvas with lines across it, that means that it's a site canvas. So a site canvas is a section or a canvas that is used across multiple pages. So basically you see that with your navigation, you see it with your footer usually. This is just a demo site, so I don't actually even have a footer on this one, but you can tell that it is a site canvas and it's on multiple pages because of the lines. You can see this a lot with testimonials or basically anything that you're using across multiple pages, because when you update it on one page, you update it on all of the other pages. So if I wanted to change this navigation and I change this contact to say inquire, for example, this navigation would change on every single page. So if we go back to the site tab and scroll down, you can see that's where all these site canvases are. So you can edit them individually. So that is the difference between the canvas and the site canvas. Now, there also might be circumstances where you have things that are hidden on the page. So with Showit, you can actually design your mobile completely separate from your desktop if you wanted to. So let's say I don't want this photo here. So you can see that I have pictures of phones and desktops all the way through with every single item on Showit. So if I want to hide this, I can actually just click the phone to hide it. So you can see it gets grayed out. Maybe I don't want it at all on desktop, so then it goes away. So that's something to keep an eye on. Another thing you see is the mobile nav. So you can see here, there's a little mobile icon here. So that means this section is visible on phone only and not on mobile. So if I click the little dots here, you can see it's checked off just on mobile. So that means it's hidden on desktop, which is very common for a mobile navigation. Okay, so if you want to update any text on your website, it's just as simple as clicking in and double clicking into the text box and then just typing whatever you want. Now, this is why I like to have desktop and mobile up, because if you start typing and adding a lot of words, then you can see over on mobile, it kind of messes it up there and you have to kind of redo it. So just keep that in mind as you're adding text. If you wanted to add a new text box down here at the bottom, if you hover, you can see these are the ones that match the design settings. So if you click heading, for example, you would add a heading and then you just can move it around by dragging it. And then you can resize the box by clicking and dragging on the little circles there, and then double click and type whatever you want in there. Okay, same thing with, a paragraph or whatever you want. Now, if you click, let's say I clicked this over here, it's existing, so you could actually just change it by clicking the different styles over here, and it will change to whatever you want it to be. If you click on a text and it has a plus sign next to it, that means something has been changed that doesn't match the design settings. So you can see right now this heading is aligned to the left, but if I make it centered, it adds a little plus sign. So that's how you update the text. For colors, they're all set up by clicking the text, and then you can just change the color here by picking whatever you want. If you wanted to add a different color, you can obviously add the hex code in there. One thing you want to keep in mind when you're working within Showit, you can change pretty much everything to either take on the same settings as desktop or mobile or use them individually. So for example, this text box here under Align, it's centered. But maybe on mobile, I actually want it to be left justified. So if you come over and hover over this, you can see these little dots show up. And if you click those and split mobile and desktop, it will show you a desktop and a mobile phone. So then you can actually change it to be different on mobile or desktop, whatever you want to do. And that's pretty much with everything. So if you click the dots, you can see you can split it. You can merge. So these, you can see that this is already split 14 and 16. But if I wanted them to be the same, I could actually just merge it. So they're both 16. So if you're changing something and you're like, what is going on? Why is it changing? Most likely it's because you have to split mobile and desktop. And you can see it happens on quite a few things. So that's just something to look out for. So the next thing that you may come across are canvas views. So typically you see that with testimonial sections. So if I look at this testimonial section, you can see that there's some arrows here, which means I can click through different testimonials. So if I click on the testimonials canvas, you can see there's a view 1 and a view 2. So basically, this is a way to have somebody click through, or you can have them automatically show. But if you needed to add more testimonials, for example, if I just clicked the dots here and then clicked duplicate, then I can go ahead and change them so they're different. So let's just change this to me. So then you can see when I'm clicking through, they kind of go through different ones. And then also if you click on testimonials and go to view transitions, and you click auto advanced view, that means that it will automatically rotate through these different views when you're viewing the website. So some people do like that as well. So I'm just going to check that for now. And that kind of leads us to click actions. So we'll just stick with this testimonial section. If you click this arrow and you go to click actions, you can see that it's currently set to link to a canvas and is linking to this canvas, and it's going to the next canvas view. So basically this is saying this is just going to click through all these different views. And then the same thing with the arrow on the left, it just says previous, so it'll just go backwards. For a button, if you click on a button, you can see you can have a bunch of different things. So if you click the type, you can link to a page or a canvas or any of these things. So typically you would say a page, and then you would select what page you want it to go to. And that's how you link that. You do have the option to open it in a new window as well, if you wanted that. If you were linking something within a text box, maybe you have an FAQ section and it says, check out this service here or something like that. If you double click into the paragraph, like you're going to update the text, and then you just highlight whatever text you want and then click the little link icon here, then you can link it to a page, a URL, whatever you want to link it to. So that's another way to link within the box rather than linking the entire box. Okay, and then another type of link action would be the social links. So for example, let's just add this footer in here. So let's say there's a Facebook icon you want to add here. Okay, so if you have Facebook and you go to click actions and link to social link and then click Facebook, this will link to whatever URL you've put in your site settings. So if we go back, you remember this little social place here, it's going to link to whatever is linked to this Facebook part. Now, when it comes to images, you have a media library here where all of your images are stored. If you wanted to change out an image, you can see that this is a gallery. So you can just click on it and click Manage Images, and it will go to your media library, and then you can just change them out and delete any ones that you don't want, things like that. If you wanted to resize it, you can just do that by clicking the arrow, the circles, and then just dragging until you get the size you want. If you wanted to add a new image, you can just go to the bottom, hover over Media Library, and click an image and click Add. And you can see it adds it both to desktop and mobile, and then you can just resize it however you want and move it to the right location like that, however you want it to be. But that's pretty much it for images. You can just change them out however you want. You can have them linked to somewhere. So if I wanted this to go to a portfolio, I could always just link the image to a page if I wanted to. Images are pretty self-explanatory. If you have a gallery on your page, again, same thing. You have all of your gallery images in here, and then you have different settings that you can do. So you can, change the type of gallery in here. But that depends on what you have on your site. If you have a social grid on your site, if you just click on the grid and go to social grid settings, you should be able to click and connect your Instagram account. If you drop the arrow down, or actually I think if you don't have anything set up, it says connect Instagram, and it will lead you to Instagram to set up, and then it will bring you back after you connect it. And then you can also have fallback images just in case it stops working for whatever reason. So that's how you would update your Instagram. So one other thing that you may have on your site are canvas sets. So if you're on your site tab and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you have something called a canvas set with a little star. And then if you click the canvas set tab, you'll see you have a top and a bottom. So basically, this is a quick way to design a new page or make updates to a page if you want to change anything to do with their footer or navigation or anything that you have on multiple pages. So you can see the desktop navigation is in the top, and then the rest of this is on the bottom. And then if you look over to the right, you can see which pages it applies to. So this is a quick way to change out different layouts. Let's say if you have a blog, you can have a different canvas set, basically a different top and a bottom to the page. So you may see this with some of your sites. And also if you change anything on these, it will change on every page that they're applied to. So in this example, I actually have a separate one for mini sessions because I want this notification bar at the top if I'm offering a mini session. So let's say I have mini sessions coming soon. So I actually want this to be on the home page and not the default canvas set. So I would check off home and then it would apply to that. So that's just kind of like an extra thing that you may see on some of your sites if you use canvas sets. So that's pretty much the basic layout of Showit and how you use the basic functions for your website. The next thing I want to point out is just a few SEO things. So if you click on a page, so you're just on the page name, and you go over to the right and click SEO Settings, this is where you're putting in your page title, your meta description, and where the share image is. So you can update those. The other important thing is making sure your text tags are correct. So basically, you want your main sentence on the page to be an H1, and you only want the H1. You only want one H1 on a page. So this should be your main thing, and then everything else should be lower. And typically the idea is to be H2 and then paragraph, and then maybe you have an H2 H3 paragraph, and all of your buttons should be paragraphs as well. That is clicking because I clicked on the wrong thing. So you want your buttons to be paragraphs, and then along your navigations, these should all be nav text tags. But basically, when you're just beginning, you want to make sure one H1 on a page, and then the next thing is to have your canvases in order of top or bottom to top. So that should be the order. Again, this is just a demo site, so it's probably not in order, but if you have a real live site, you want it to be in order from bottom to top. So like for this one, we can just do this really quick here so you can see. So for this one, I want elopements. I want it to be in this order. And this should be all set up if you already have a site that was created by a template or a designer, for example. But SEO purposes, you want everything to be top to bottom like that. So then when I hover over stuff, you can see it moves up. And I usually like to look at mobile to do this just because it's a little bit easier, I think, than looking at desktop. So your page settings, your text tag, and the order are the three most important things when it comes to SEO and Showit.